Good morning. Very busy day for me yesterday. I woke up the first time here at 2:15, but I was able to fall back to sleep again, so about 2 hours ago. And I'm here at 4:44, creating a video that I titled, When a Nation Becomes Lawless. In the US of A corporation, they label Admiralty Law as common law. It is not. Common law has principles that are inviolate. The Bill of Rights cites basic freedoms that are the standard by which everything in the nation must be conducted and measured. As I said in yesterday's video, the right to a trial by a jury of peers is one of those, and it is mentioned in 3 amendments, with numbers 7 being very specific. Others include freedom of religion, speech, press, assembly, and the right to petition the government for redress of grievances. That's just the First Amendment of guaranteed rights. To me, the 4th one is also critical. It is the right of the people to be secure in their persons, houses, papers, and effects against unreasonable searches and seizures. The original 13th Amendment that barred anyone with a title of nobility from holding public office was unfortunately removed. That includes attorneys. So you can see why the British Crown wanted to expunge that one. Attorneys now unlawfully hold the vast majority of public offices in the United States. Wow. Folks, if it seems like I'm spending a lot of time dwelling on this subject, bear in mind, as I've said in other videos, that this house that I live in was a gift basically from Dr. Mary in her will. That will and trust should never have been contested at all. But a criminal, namely Phyllis Wilhelm, and in conjunction with her husband, but he had 2 strokes and he was not even able to properly testify at the deposition, and she never was called on to be deposed, and she was the one behind the whole thing. And this has been going on for 10.5 years. There was an agreement made with the attorney that if I let them sell the property on Merritt Island, and I gave them power of attorney to do so, they would not take my house. That was one of the stipulations, that my house would be clear. They broke that agreement right away, but the agreement was never in writing. They immediately assigned a realtor to start working on the sale of the property. And they did sell the property for a ridiculously low amount of money compared to what the property was worth. I think they sold it for $275,000. And it was on the market, as I said, when Dr. Mary died, and I began to deal with the realtors, they said this house is worth $1 million. We had it on the market for $999,000. It ended up not being able to be sold because of the lawsuit by the Wilhelms. So this is the thing that I've been battling for 10.5 years, because the lawsuit came within less than a month after I moved into this house. Before I held my first meeting, I had already been notified that there was a lawsuit pending. And they broke lots of rules. But here's the problem. The United States is a corporation. It's not run by the Constitution. That's window dressing. That means nothing to corporations. Corporations are not bound to follow any rules but their own rules that they make up as they go along, and they continue to try to tighten the screws on the people, robbing us of our right to freedom of religion, speech, press, assembly, and the right to petition the government for a redress of grievances. There is no government when the country is run by a corporation, and is itself a corporation. And all of its agencies are corporations, privately owned, for profit. And this is the scam that has been pulled by the British Crown. It was Britain that did this. If the United States has been able to follow its own course and uphold the rules set forth by the founding fathers of this nation, none of this would have happened. But it was usurped. The ability to do things was usurped from the people, and the people were too lazy to become educated enough to stand up and tell these usurpers no. So I am not secure in my own home. I live continuously with a threat that armed thugs might be employed by the courts to come and physically force me out of my own house. That's why I'm packing books. That's why I'm moving as much of my stuff out of here and putting it into storage as I possibly can. It's a lot of work. Dr. Mary had a lot of things. I mean, her garage was the first floor of her garage. I lived on the second floor in the second floor apartment. But the first floor was just packed, floor to ceiling, wall to wall, with her stuff. And all of that is in my house. A lot of it in my garage. Some of it I haven't, since I moved it in here 10.5 years ago, I haven't touched the stuff. It's piled up in one of the bays of my garage, the big bay that would hold two compact cars end to end if it was empty. But it's been full of stuff for 10.5 years. And this is what I'm moving out and putting into storage just in case, because some of that I haven't even looked at in the 10.5 years, some of it's actually antiques. I mean, it has things of value there. And of course, if they moved in and forced me from my house, they would, I guess, have access to this and basically steal it from me. And for me to live without this house and without this roof over my head, I simply could not afford on less than $1,000 a month Social Security. So this is the situation that I'm in, which is, to me, unconscionable. To me, it's unbearable. And again, going back to the original 13th Amendment, lawyers, attorneys, bar certified attorneys cannot hold any public office. They are not even considered citizens of the United States. And we have people in the United States that can claim to be citizens of the corporation, who are also citizens of another corporation called the fictitious Nation of Israel, which is another anomaly run by the Rothschild bankers, the same people that took over the United States. Folks, we need to wake up as to what's going on in the world, and just because it hasn't hit you yet doesn't mean that it won't hit you. It's hit a lot of your brothers and sisters. A lot of your people are struggling. Some have had their houses already stolen out from underneath them. And others that I know some of these people personally. I know some of these people personally that have had cars taken, that have had homes taken, that have lost a lot. I hope that there aren't too many that actually ended up committing suicide, but I would understand why someone would think that way. I understand it completely, because we live in a terrorist world, on a terrorist planet that needs to be protected by God, but it doesn't seem to be. It hasn't seemed to be. Now people are waking up. Will God finally start acting? I sure hope so. But when a nation becomes lawless, people are left without remedy of the law because they don't abide by the conditions that were set for them so long ago in the original Confederate Articles of Confederation, the Declaration of Independence, the Bill of Rights, Constitution. All of that has been subverted into a corporate structure for profit, and it's sad. Thank you for listening, and pray for me.